What if somewhere beyond maps, beyond history, beyond memory itself, there exists a garden that does not bloom with roses or lilies, a garden that does not drink from soil or sky, a garden that goes from silence. Every flower here is born from a name the world has forgotten, a name whispered once, then erased forever. But silence is not empty, silence is seed, and here silence grows. Stay with me. Because once you step into this garden, you'll never hear your own name the same way again. And if you want to keep walking into worlds that world try to erase, subscribe now. Because here, we do not chase noise, we remember, but silence hides. Let's move with first one. The weight of forgotten names. History records rulers, but it forgets the ruled. It remembers kings and empire, but it forgets the children who starved nameless, the women whose graves were never marked, the rebels whose names were erased with their words. Every forgotten name is not just a silence, it is a fracture, a missing piece of the human story. Psychologists call it collective amnesia. Sociologists call it systemic forgetting. But the truth is simpler, heavier. When a name is lost, a soul is cut loose. And yet, names do not vanish. They fall. They sink into silence. And in this garden, silence is not burial. It is germination. Each erased syllable takes root. Each abandoned identity becomes bloom. Walk here and you walk through history's shadow archive. A place where names that never made it to books, stones for songs, rise again, Peter by Peter. Moving with next one. When silence becomes seed. Think of silence not as nothingness, but as soil. Every forgotten name is dropped into that soil. Every erased identity is buried like a seed, waiting. And here, waiting becomes blooming. Silence becomes abundance. Loss becomes color. Picture it. A violet whispers the memory of a child lost before language. A white rose exhales the sigh of a mother whose name was never recorded. Crimson tulip trembles with the fire of a poet silenced by flames. A lotus unfolds with woe of a monk who chose to erase himself. These are not random blossoms. They are syllables reborn. Every petal is a fragment of sound turned into shape. Every fragrance is a voice turned into breath. This garden is not decoration. It is proof that silence does not destroy, it transforms. Moving with next one. The psychology of forgetting and memory. Why are names always the first to fade? You meet a stranger, you remember their face, you recall their story, but their name slips away. Names are anchors, they hold identity steady. And when Taruma strikes, when power erases, when time corrodes, anchor cut loose. Dictators erase names to erase existence. Oppressors silence names to silence voices. Even memory itself discards names under pressure, protecting the self by burying what it cannot hold. But the subconscious never loses. It stores every forgotten name deep in hidden vaults, buried under repression, buried under decades, but alive. In dreams, forgotten faces appear. In deja vu, names stir. In flashes of memory, slavers return for no reason. The mind is not a grave, it is a garden refusing to let go. And what blooms in the secret garden of the psyche is mirrored in this mystical one. Forgotten names returning, disguised as flowers. Moving with next one, flowers as souls, symbols, scriptures. Flowers have never been more mere decoration. They have always been souls in disguise. Cherry blossoms in Japan, fragile and fleeting. Marigolds in Mexico, guiding the dead on their return. Narcissus in Greece, warning against forgetting oneself. Lotus in India, rising from mud into light. Every culture knew, every culture whispered, every culture believed. Flowers carry the souls of the forgotten. And in this garden, all those myths converge. Cherry blossom beside marigolds, lotus beside narcissus, cultures side by side, erasers side by side, silences side by side. This is not botany, this is testimony. The testimony of names reborn as blossoms, a sculpture written in color, a hand sung in fragrance. Walk through this place and you do not stroll among plants. You wander through memory itself. Moving it. Next one, the fragrance of memory. Science tells us scent is the strongest key to memory, stronger than sound, stronger than sight. A single fragrance can unlock entire decades. The smell of cinnamon returns you to childhood kitchens. The scent of earth beings, back summers long gone. Perfume carries the echo of someone you once loved. In this garden, fragrance is history itself. Jasmine carries lullabies once whispered. Lavender holds griefs unspoken. Sandalwood exhale prayers erased from ritual. Roses bleed with the longing of bars that ended too quickly for memory. Here, to breathe is to remember. To inhale is to resurrect. Every breath is communion with the lost. And this is why the garden overwhelms, because it is not only seen, it is inhaled. It enters your lungs, your bloodstream, your soul, until you carry the forgotten inside you. Moving with next one, the forbidden paths of silence. At the center of the garden, paths stretch for outward, but they are not stone, they are not soil, they are woven from whispers. Every name adds the thread, every silence voice adds the layer. The louder the eraser, the brighter the power. The more bitter the silence, the more radiant the bloom. Walking here is not stalling, it is remembering. Every step is prayer, every path is made of souls that refuse to vanish. And the deeper you go, the more the paths converge. Clearings from where mass silence gathered. Forests rise where entire nations were erased. This is not chaos, this is memory mapping itself. A cartography of forgetting, a geography of eraser. Moving it. Next one. The true internet of souls. We believe the internet is eternal, that data never dies, that every post, every profile, every username lives forever. But servers collapse, profiles vanish, digital symmetries grow daily. The internet forgets, but the garden does not. This is the true cloud, not made of cables and code, but of whispers and roots. Here, every deleted profile blooms again. Every abandoned username rises as fragrance. Every forgotten message reappears as color. The internet archives noise. The garden archives silence, and silence is stronger. Moving it. Next one. The shadow of erased history. Think of all the histories we do not know. Languages swallowed, tribal dissolved, songs never recorded, civilization vanished without leaving names. Where did they go? The answer is here. Every flower is not only a person, it is a culture, it is a vanished rhythm, it is an entire history blooming again. This is why the garden is endless, because forgetting is endless, and so too is resurrection. Moving it. Next one, the garden within you. Now comes the revelation. The garden is not only out there, it is inside you. Every forgotten version of yourself blooms within. The child you abandoned, the teenager you silenced, the dreams you never named, the griefs you buried without words. They live, they bloom, they whisper. Every sigh you erased, every memory you denied, every self you pretended never existed, they have never died. Yeah, they haven't died. They are flowers inside your garden. And when you ache for no reason, when you dream strange dreams, when you feel the pull of nostalgia you cannot name, it is your inner garden calling, reminding you nothing forgotten is gone. Wing with final words for you. The garden that blooms only with forgotten names is not myth, it is truth. It is silence refusing to die. It is memory refusing erasure. And one day, your name too will bloom here, whether carved in stone or not, whether whispered by descendants or erased entirely, whether remembered or forgotten. So let this not be just another video you scroll past. Let this be your bloom. Write your name in the comments so it will never vanish. And subscribe now. Because here we do not chase noise, we remember, but silence hides. Whisper your name, let it bloom. The garden is waiting.